What's up, everyone? It's the God, Young Montu-Ra, and welcome to Montu-Ra, the podcast, where I talk about the good, the bad, and the downright dirty of music, business, and spirituality. What's up, my gods and goddesses? And we are back again, episode 16, Lionsgate Portal, 8-8 Energy. It's time to be bold. It's time to go after it. It's a lot of bullshit going on. But this is it. One of my mentors said, the biggest risk is not taking a risk at all. There is no compensation in playing it safe. And I do think that holds true for all of us during this portal here. And I'm going to be the one to say it. I think the 777 portal is actually more intense than this is. I believe next year, when it actually lines up for 888, I do believe that's going to be actually more epic than it is on today. But without further ado, I'm going to release this at 8:08 p.m. And then we're hopefully going to see some things going on tonight in the sky. But if for all that don't know, the Lion Gates portal, it just basically marks the alignment of the sun in Leo. We're about at that halfway point. We're about 15 degrees in Leo season with the sun. So the brightest star in the sky, Sirius, the constellation, Orion's belt. So that's something that we kind of all, maybe not all of us, but that's something that just we kind of knew. But we're talking about my heritage, my Egyptian family. Ancient Egyptians knew the fixed star Sirius was extremely, they were really extremely well versed and based a lot of, our ceremonies or even the lifestyles that we all do today around Sirius became visible. So this happens every year pretty much on August 8th. So this Lionsgate's portal is like, it's opening up this galactic gate, I guess. But I like to call it like a spiritual thing we can't see. We're going to be tapped into a lot of high frequencies on today and moving forward. This is going to allow us that rebirth spirit. We're talking a lot about rebirth, this transformation. But this is that spiritual energy helping us to tap in with the mother goddess energy, right? So that high frequency energy, we can be used to open up our chakras. Some of us are having a lot of weird dreams. A lot of us are having a lot of different just things happening to us spiritually. But I do think this is going to raise our consciousness, right? As a collective, this is happening, across the world. But at the same time, us being aware of what's really going on is we're going to start receiving a lot of psychic downloads and the ability to get more inspired with our goals and just with life in general. And I do think this is active. I believe it's been active since about July 28th, but I do think today is the peak just because we're halfway through Leo season. So that's something we're going to talk about a bit on today. Sirius, let's just talk about Sirius though. It's considered our spiritual sun, right? So the rising and return of this energy was seen by our ancient astrologers as our rebirth. And I love that. It's like this spirit energy, the energy of the planet, the rising of Sirius also corresponded with the rainy season and the flooding of the Nile. So that's something to kind of think about when we're, diving deep on, and I'm going to say this, it's been raining here where I'm at for probably almost, I don't know, a month, off and on, but it's been pretty much the rainy season here. And that is supporting the idea of us going through a rebirth through this nourishing rain, right? Because we know some cultures are also use the rising of Sirius to signify the start of a new year as well. So happy new year to some of us out there as well. But this Lionsgate portal is a cosmic event that occurs every year that we talked about between July 28th and August 12th. And it's peaking on today, right? So this symbolizes like an outburst of high frequency energy, wisdom. This is going to bring a lot of great opportunities for growth and manifestation. This period also is going to allow us to boost our aspirations, manifest new ideas and raise our consciousness to enhance our spiritual energy. We've been talking a lot about 2023 being the rebirth of everything in life on this plane here. I've been saying this throughout this year, but I do believe it started in 2019, and I've said that before, is because we know that everything has a meaning, everything has a cause, and this day is nothing different. That it has a huge meaning. And when I think about the different rituals and ceremonies and things like that that we do, or we might have been programmed to do, a lot of this comes from our Egyptian heritage, right? We all know that. But at the same time, it's like that energy, those frequencies are continuing to being passed down, and now we're tapping into that same energy. And I believe that that gives us a bit um, more awareness for us to take advantage of this energy. So anyone looking for a change in their lifestyle, setting new goals, or wanting to accomplish more, this is our gate. This is our gate to walk in. I did a transformation, started here January of this year, but I do believe it started for me in August because I got rid of my shop in August. So this is coming full circle. This is making a lot of sense now, but at the same time, we're still not transformed yet. So that is something that I'm going to definitely talk a lot about on today, and how these different portals that do open that we may not be able to see, but more spiritually, they have a huge impact. Maybe not on the day, maybe not on the week, but definitely when we look back, we start to see that maybe some just random ideas start coming into our mind on today. Maybe we just have just a lot of inspiration. Maybe we get a little tired on today because of a lot of different downloads, right? So that's something that we can all kind of consider um, as we're on the dawn of a new year, in a period where we're going to set these new, resolutions for our future. Um, we talked a lot about our ancient Egyptians. Really revered the star Sirius, the brightest star. All the ceremonies, the lifestyle revolved around this energy. And I do believe it's a gateway to heaven and wisdom as well. Now, we might be thinking, heaven? What the fuck are you talking about? We're talking about consciousness, and that's what everything is. And even I go through a lot of different periods in my life where I question the Most High, and we start to question different things, but we also ultimately have this inner wisdom. I can't even explain it, but it's a sense of knowing. And I do think us being aware of these different things that are happening in the sky, or in the cosmos, as we like to say, is something that we can actually take advantage of, because I believe this portal is going to be something to like complete our alignment, right? Obviously we know they're tapped in with the pyramids and Egypt and everything like that. So it's just something that I do believe our ancestors were definitely tapped in, and I do believe they were actually able to manifest very fast, is because they were super, super aligned, excuse me, super focused, and it wasn't a ton of distractions, a ton of bullshit. And that is what we're actually facing now. So that is why I think it takes a lot longer for us to feel these effects or see the outcomes, or just tap into the downloads. I think it takes more time because it's so much bullshit that we actually have to maneuver and get out of the way of, or run through. And I mean that spiritually as well, because there's a lot of different things like if you listen to this, we aren't the only ones that know this information, or maybe you're listening and you don't. But and I advise you to do your own research as well. But when we're talking about spirituality and energy, there are different other portals that are out there to help us not tap in, and I just means that can just be a mindset. I know my mind goes crazy some days on some bullshit. You know what I mean? But at the same time, spiritually, we know that we're here for a purpose and we're here for a cause. And I do think that's why this Lionsgate is so important, is because we're going to be feeling the Leo energy. I'm not just talking about people with birthdays in Leo season and all that type of stuff. We're all Leos, and we're all going to enter through this gate, and we're going to have the most confidence as best as we can, right? But the number 8, that does signify that abundance. Also, it's just infinity. It's an infinity sign. Like everything goes together. the energy cannot be destroyed. It just takes a new form, right? So that's something why this day is so special, and why I think next year is actually going to be huge, is because we're going to have 888, like I talked about earlier. So it's going to have a huge impact, even more than it is on today. That's just my personal belief right there. But I do think there's magic in the number of eight, right? I do think this symbolizes confidence, passion, power, resilience, that karmic loop, and infinite transformation. So when this Lion Gate portal is wide open, we're also going to have a new moon coming up. And I do think this is something that's going to solidify it here in the next 8 days. So that is how it's lining up. This is August 8th. New moon is going to be on August 16th in Leo. I do see this as a golden opportunity for us to harness anything that is best for us, right? So some things that I'm just wanting to kind of talk about what we should kind of do. How can we harness this energy? How can we take advantage of it? And it doesn't have to be any crazy rituals and things like that, but um, the sun is our ultimate source of energy for our overall being, right? So I do believe this has something to do with Sirius showering us with just high energy that just gives us life to our spiritual bodies, right? So this is the time of the year that, whatever we can imagine, or maybe we need a second chance. I do believe the universe is ready to hear us. I do think it's time to be bold. It's time to be brave. And this Leo energy is empowering us to take action as well. I've had a lot of ups and downs this year, but at the same time, I just for some reason keep going. Uh, and I do think that has something to do just with the Most High giving me a purpose, and we all have a purpose that we need to do, that we're just not gonna quit. And I do think today is a very special day, is because the sun is illuminating like our physical world, but at the same time, which is an illusion, right? So it's like our spiritual sun is illuminating the truth of our timeless soul. And that is something that is epic, because we're all living in an illusion, right? If you listen to me, I'm a walking contradiction, especially with this daggone astrology. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the downright dirty. But at the same time, we're all contradicting this life. But there's one thing that we're not contradicting, is believing that there is a Most High, believing there is a God, believing there is a Jesus, believing there is a Buddha. And some of us might disagree with that. I just think that we all know that there is something out there that is actually making this thing work. And I do think this is that gateway, and that's why this is that gateway to heaven, to take us home to our higher vibration, right? To take us back to where we might have lost ourselves. And that is something very important too. And I'm going to speak on it, is sometimes I feel like we came on this realm here and we just forgot all type of shit. Like, and then I have a lot of different coinky dinks in my life. I'm thinking like, damn, why do I know this, or why do I remember this? But I've had uh, no really instant of it like being in my life, right? So that's something that I think this is helping us to get back to who we are. I believe this energy is going to carry a lot of wisdom that we talked about, but we can tap in and utilize this energy so much. And just think about how our ancestors would do this. They would have their rituals and their ceremonies, and then we're doing the same thing. That's powerful. So that is something that I kind of think about when I'm reading my books or tapping in spiritually or meditating. Just think about how much energy um, has been put on August 8th. And I don't know if they knew if this was August 8th. You know what I'm saying? They were just tapped in to the cosmos, and they just knew when it lined up. But we actually have the numerology as well. So I do think this is helping us. While the sun is responsible for beaming down life for our physical bodies, Sirius is responsible for beaming down life for our spiritual bodies as well. That is why, this Lion's Gate portal can bring awakenings, a lift on our consciousness to new heights. This is definitely associated with freedom and advanced technologies, and we know what's going on in the outside world, and I'm not going to speak so much about it, but we know what's going on with the financial system. We know what's going on with the technology. AI, robots is here, and this is something that is getting activated on today as well. So we have to understand that if we're not taking advantage of this energy as best as we can, um, then I do think we're just going to get used by it. But I do think this is going to give us, we're going to be like channeling different messages starting on today, even more if we haven't, right? Because this is slow, this is something that I've been trying to make sense of for the past couple of weeks. I've been talking about it a lot on my live streams on Bigo. If you ever tap in with me on Bigo Live. But I've been doing a lot of different investigating, reading, and just trying to figure out like what is it? You know what I mean? What is it with this portal? What is it that is getting a lot so much attention, right? But we did do a stream about 777 portal, and I thought that was just like the jackpot, right? And then I said, when we get to 888, this is going to be something that I feel like our spirit guides are helping us to understand. They're giving us this intuition so we can open up. We're trying to open up those Akashic records, as some say, tapping into our own tablets, to our own chambers of our identity, right? So that is something that I do feel is very important, and I do think that has something to do um, with 2023 and this being the year of the rebirth. But at the same time, it's like this is us finding the pieces of our spirit that we might have been, feeling lost or hidden along our journey. And that's why this year is that rebirth. Rebirth to our energy, rebirth to feeling good inside of our own bodies, rebirth to things working out for our best good, right? I don't know what was put on me back in the day or when I was born, but yeah, I've had a challenging time just feeling content with me, right? And I think a lot of us are feeling that, and that is why we start to waking up and go down these different paths or go down these different rabbit holes, because we're trying to find ourselves, we're trying to find our truth, and today is no different, right? This is something that we're all experiencing if we know it or not, but we're trying to get rid of everything that is in our way so we can put our life back together and live our life how we truly desire. But I do think this is a day that we're unlocking a lot of different things in our spiritual life. So under this Lions Gate, I'm going to talk about like here are a few things we can set an intention to experience under this Lions Gate. Like I said, I'm going to release this one. I'm going to release this episode at 8:08 p.m. CEST time, so it's probably not going to line up with the U.S. or whatever. But um, we're definitely talking about our hearts, though. We know this Leo energy, this Lion's Gate. This is that portal that I believe is activating our heart chakra. Our old or even current wounds of our heart may rise up for healing, and that's very true. Is that we have to heal from a lot of different things. It might be we're trying to set ourselves free from grief or sadness that has burdened our hearts, things like that. I do believe we're going through a heart healing process. Also, I do think we can set some intentions on our third eye awakening as well on today. We may feel more intuitive or learn something new about our intuition that speaks to us, right? Remember, I talk about our God is our intuition, our goddess is our intuition. I don't believe it's anybody coming outside of us that is going to save us. We must listen to our inner voice, listen to our inner God and goddess. So our intuition is likely to be strong uh, at this point, right? Because this is a great time to begin if we haven't. So I do think today, if we might get some type of desire just to tap into some spiritual. We might not even be spiritual, you know what I mean? Or we might be wanting to take a break from a lot of different things and tap into ourselves. So this can come out in a number of ways, but I do think this has something to do with our heart chakra, with our third eye, um, and pretty much all our chakras too, right? I mean, we have tons of them. We mainly focus on the seven, but I do think this is going to help us to tap into that new wisdom and that higher spiritual knowledge, right? Because we have seven main ones supposedly from the studies, but at the same time we have hundreds of smaller ones. So we might tap in and activate something in our smaller chakras that just kind of helps us to start to turn our wheels, start to turn uh, our life around. And I do see a lot of us experiencing a lot of psychic downloads. I talked about this earlier. But I've been having some crazy dreams the past couple of weeks, and I normally don't remember shit, but I've been remembering a lot of my dreams, and I do think we are more likely to receive a lot of psychic downloads during this time. Dreams, vision, spirit guides, angels, um, and or simply just through hearing different things, just trying to relax, helping us to meditate more. Maybe we do some writing, or some great ways to open this up and to receive our guidance, so we could just kind of chill. And for me, and I think that, and I want to say this as a sidebar, it's like I'm always thinking like I got to be doing something. If I'm not doing something, I'm lacking, right? And I do think that's something I'm trying to get off of, is feeling like I got to be doing something regardless if it's if it's actually getting me closer to my goals. But I realize it's really not doing nothing. You know what I mean? Just chilling and waiting for the Most High if we've done everything we felt like we can do. Not saying that we don't need to continue to put in the work, but I'm saying there is a balance, I believe, and I'm starting to try and learn that as well. Another thing that might happen is some visitations. Like we might get visits from, I told you all I had a visit from my grandmother. I think it was like a week, maybe even 2 weeks ago. And I do believe that has something to do with with this energy. It was around my birthday as well, and I do think we're all experiencing a lot of these different, our angels, I call them spirit guides, and other worldly beings are giving us a message. We're supposed to be tapped in so much to receive a message, to receive a sign. We might be visited by one of our loved ones that has passed away, one of our guardian angels as well. So, and we're going to see on the outside world a lot of different things about aliens and all this shit. I do believe we are the aliens. There might be other aliens out there, but at the same time, we're going to start to see that on the outside world play itself out as well. But I do see us getting a lot of visits through our meditations, through our just kind of chill time, through our dreams. We're going to be getting a lot of signs, a lot of synchronicities are going to be running rampant here. And especially, I told you, we're all getting ready for the winter solstice as well. And I do believe this Lionsgate is something that is helping us to understand that. And another thing we can kind of expect, or maybe set our intentions on, or maybe experience, is freedom. We are. This is like the strongest vibe for the serious energy is freedom. It's our idea. It's an idea from this earthly realm. It's like we know that maybe some of us know, or maybe we don't. But this physical world is an illusion. We've been lied to our entire life, and the reason I say that is not from just a conspiracy, and that word gets played out, but it's from the understanding that our soul is trying to, we're trying to get illuminated with our soul, right? We're trying to get our material and our spiritual worlds together. We're trying to find our truth. And by understanding this, we then, I believe, gain a sense of freedom, right? I'm always talking about balance. I'm usually trying to find myself in balance, but I'm probably out of balance, right? But it's always trying to find the balance, so we can actually feel our truth and know our truth, and not be scared to speak our truth as well, and be who we are. And that is something that I talked a lot about as well, is like being who we are, expressing our own uniqueness, not hiding in the clouds, not hiding behind anybody, being grateful, or just being accepting of who we are as well, in our gifts and talents. And that's something that might be shunned upon. I love the way that there are platforms where you can just speak your truth and not get canceled and all that type of bullshit because you don't buy into whatever somebody else is saying. And I tell everybody, take what I say with a grain of salt. Do your own fucking research so we can tap in together and have a great conversation, versus you telling me what somebody else said. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the type of message that this gate is giving us, is saying, we need to tap into our spiritual body so we can find this truth. Next is peace. We're all trying to get a sense of peace. Um, Spending time in nature, meditation is great as well. But this is also about healing, right? Restoring our mind, body, and soul. And I do take this a lot. I've been tapping back in a lot with just kind of how I was raised, but more so of my own thought process. Like, and different things like that. And it's been coming up a lot, trying to heal whatever's happened to me back in the day. I don't even know what it is, but it's something that needs to be healed. And I do think that is resonating with a lot of us moving forward, because a lot of us are waking up even more, is because we see the scams, right? We see it, we know it. Now we're trying to move forward and saying, you know what? I need to buy into me. I need to find peace wherever we can, and be okay with that. So that's something that either we might just be tapped into it on today, we might be searching for it, or setting an intention for it, but it's going to be about us tapping into our peace as well. Technology as well, we have to know is serious energy is associated with highly advanced technology. And I do think my ancestors, my Ethiopian ancestors, my Egyptian ancestors, they knew this. They knew that this innovation would come. They knew that is why we still see the pyramids. That is why we still see the mummies, and we still see all their work, right? Um, that is very important, is because I believe there wasn't anything in the way when these portals would open. Now, I don't know if they would actually see them. Maybe they did, and they could walk through them, and that would be another consciousness. Maybe it was another realm. It could go deeper, just depending on how, kind of how, what we believe. But I do believe it wasn't a lot of nonsense. So if we know that things are happening in the sky, we don't have anybody trying to tell us otherwise, or we don't have any other type of suggestion from somebody else or from other people that aren't tapped in, I do believe it's easier to manifest. I do believe it would be easier for things to happen more rapidly when we talk about using our mind to create our own reality. I do think it's harder now because it's a lot of different things. That I said earlier, is a lot of different things that get in the way, and sometimes, most of the times, we get in our own way. Let's keep it a bun. But at the same time, there's a lot of different technologies out there. There are a lot of different mechanisms out there that we can't see. We could go on about chemtrails. We could talk about the food. We could talk about the water. There's so much bullshit out there that we have to navigate through, just to sometimes continue our belief. So I think today is us realizing that, you know what, I gotta believe in me. I gotta believe in what I'm doing. We gotta believe in what we're doing, is because there's so many other mechanisms that are going to actually take our attention, and then because of that, we're not going to be able to stay on track. So that is why I do think this is related to technology. Um, but we're going to use this technology of the cosmos to our advantage. Also, creativity. Lionsgate is also a highly creative time, perfect opportunity to try new creative projects or to take action on a creative project we or you have might been looking to get off the ground. Normally, I would say this would be a great time, because I did do uh, weekly cosmic forecast, and I was saying, this isn't the best time to start anything new, because we're heading into this void period with the moon, as we start getting ramped up for the new moon in Leo. But when we have these portals that open up, this is a time, maybe we just set that intention. Maybe we just start setting the intention and saying, you know what, I'm about to go ham with this. This is what I want to do. And I do see that as being very important on today. And we might, and another thing we might want to tap in is like crystals and things like that. We could be tapped into our tarot. It's a number of things we can kind of want to do, but I do think those are kind of the few things we might experience under this Lionsgate as well. But this is that galactic frequency, higher dimensional beings, and tapping into our own intuition. So this Lionsgate 8-8, set an intention on how you wish to use this energy, and then create a ritual or practice that allows you to harness it in whatever the Most High is telling you to do. But that is the Lion's Gate portal. It's the God, Young Montu-Ra. Oh man, this was a nice one. I appreciate everybody for joining again on today. Oh, let me say this before I do end. Make sure you follow me on my socials at official Montu-Ra, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and official Montu_Ra, TikTok and Instagram. If you do want to see me live stream, make sure you get on Bigo app, BigoLive.com. It's an app I've been going on pretty much every day, doing some music, doing some astrology talk. Make sure you tap in. with me on that. I will be back again. I got a ton more episodes we're going to talk about. Again, I appreciate everybody for joining and supporting me. Much love to everybody out there. It's the God Young Montu-Ra, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.